Thailand and Malaysia are moving ahead with plans for a special border economic zone, deepening ties on trade while addressing long-standing issues on the border. The agreement today as Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim hosted Thai counterpart Anutin Charnvirakul in Putrajaya. To also resolving a spat that started in May when Bangkok imposed restrictions on Malaysian-caught seafood, citing concerns over chemical residue. Kuala Lumpur imposing its own controls in response. The Prime Minister has also pledged stronger agricultural cooperation. Mr. Anutin is on his first visit to Malaysia since being reappointed as Prime Minister in March. And we're joined by CNA senior correspondent Melissa Goh in Kuala Lumpur, as well as our Thailand correspondent Saksith Saiyasombut standing by for us as well in Bangkok. Melissa, we start with you. The main outcomes, we've mentioned just a few from this meeting today between the two prime ministers.
Well, in a very truly ASEAN way, both Prime Minister Anwar and his Thai counterpart, Mr. Anutin, were warm and friendly like two close neighbours, although this is ultimately his first official visit since his reappointment. Prime Minister Anutin was playing the saxophone during lunch, and both prime ministers were seen singing. Now, the message here is very clear, and there's nothing that the two neighbours cannot resolve amicably. There is no ruffled feathers here, despite the ongoing seafood trade spat hurting both sides' farmers. Malaysia, in a tit-for-tat, suspended imports of prawns from Thailand last month after Thailand restricted its sea bass exports, citing chemical residues. Now, an MOU was quickly ironed out today and signed by both countries' agricultural ministers, witnessed by both prime ministers, to pave the way for the resumption of trade in fishery and agricultural products. Now, Mr. Anwar has described the bilateral meeting today as fruitful, while Prime Minister Anutin called it productive. Now, despite the agriculture being a sensitive topic for both countries because they're seen as competing with each other, from seafood to durians. Now, nevertheless, Prime Minister Anwar signalled the urgency to resolve the spat as soon as possible, to set up a framework, although it's still a work in progress, to sort out the common standards on biosecurity, on phytosanitary certification, and so on. Let's have a listen.
We agreed also to proceed with the special border economic zones and to facilitate exchanges in immigration customs between the two countries. And we have resolved this issue of outstanding issues of fisheries with both ministers' commitment, and they wanted the memorandum to continue and be effected in 1.5 months, and we agreed it should be effected in 1 week.
Now, for starters, both countries have agreed to set up a joint working group to formulate a framework for import and export, as well as implement and supervise them in a fast and transparent manner. Now, the leaders also announced fresh target to beef up bilateral trade to $30 billion next year and tighten cooperation in digital and green economy, in high-tech industries, and strengthen food and energy security, not just between both countries, but across the region of ASEAN as a whole.
Minister, plans as well to further develop that special border economic zone. How's that coming along?
Well, the special borders economic zone spanning the east and the west corridors aim to improve the livelihood of the people ultimately living in the southern Thailand and also the northern states of Peninsular Malaysia. Now, it involves joint infrastructure development to improve flood mitigation and facilitate multimodal connectivity. Now, both leaders spoke about reviving the railway service from Rantau Panjang to Kuala on the east side and extending the double-tracking rail network from Ipoh all the way to Hat Yai, as well as a new road alignment with inland ports and so on. Now, in fact, both Mr. Anutin and Prime Minister Anwar will be heading to the borders tomorrow to launch the new checkpoint in Sadao, which is going to be the biggest, Mr. Anutin said, to further facilitate cross-border trade and movement of goods and people. It's an area of immense potential, they said, and stimulating economic activities in southern Thailand is definitely a priority of both leaders.
Saksith, we just heard Melissa, their priority certainly for Mr. Anutin is stabilizing the deep south of Thailand, and Malaysia could play a part in doing that.
Indeed, very much so. Even though both men have been singing Can't Help But Falling in Love earlier today, this is in stark contrast to the situation that we are seeing at the deep southern border of Yala Patadi Naratiwa, that are seeing a insurgency conflict for over 20 plus years now that has cost thousands of people their lives. And even though it has become somewhat of a low intensity conflict between the insurgents and the Thai military, but there has been a slight uptick in incidents such as bomb attacks on gas stations and police checkpoints, and also lately as well that 2 Malaysian tourists have been caught in such an improvised attack as well, injured but still alive. So this has definitely rattled the government of Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul, who is just the latest of a series of governments trying to tackle the problem in the south. But the problem is that with the multiple changes in government also meant that we had multiple changes in the chief negotiator of the Thai government that is going to talk with the Barisan Revolusi Nasional, one of the largest militant groups in the deep south. Their last talks have taken place in Kuala Lumpur in 2025. We understand they're supposed to take place again later this year in September, also by Kuala Lumpur. And that also shows how important Malaysia is here in helping to facilitate these talks, and something that Prime Minister Anutin is also very thankful about. Let's have a listen.
First, on connectivity and border development, I inform Premier Anwar that ending violence and addressing the challenges in Thailand's southern border provinces remains a top priority for my government. Today, we reaffirm our shared conviction that peace and development must go hand in hand. Peace creates the conditions for development, while development helps build lasting peace.
Now, of course, here the hope is that the economic cooperation between the two countries is benefiting both sides of the border, and especially the deep south of Thailand that has seen not a lot of investment over the past decades.
Well, thanks for that. CNA senior correspondent before that, Melissa go live from Kuala Lumpur, and our Thai correspondent Saksith live for us there in Bangkok. Thank you.